What up, everybody? Welcome to Faces and Heels, your podcast for professional wrestling here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and it is WrestleMania weekend. We have arrived, and boy, this feels like the longest, which it is, the longest wait for WrestleMania we've ever had, all the way to mid-April. And it's weird that WrestleMania weekend falls on Easter weekend. I don't understand why they picked Easter weekend. I don't know the significance of Easter weekend, why we had to wait and schedule it for this particular weekend, but whatever. Whatever. We'll take it when we can get it. It's WrestleMania. By God, it is WrestleMania. And this has been an interesting build to WrestleMania, in regards to last year. Last year's WrestleMania, which was a juggernaut, which was like the Avengers Endgame version of pro wrestling with that epic main event that had Cody Rhodes win the WWE Championship versus the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, and everybody came out, and it was bloodline rules and whatnot. It was a awesome build leading up to that with The Rock, him getting involved and taking Cody's spot, Cody taking his spot back, pissing off The Rock, causing The Rock to go final boss, beating Cody Rhodes with a weight belt in the ring, and all this other stuff, having a tag team match on night one to determine the main event match on night two. It was just epic storytelling, and from all accounts, that wasn't the original plan. They pivot, and that's what we got, and we got pure excellence. This year, I think the expectation for a lot of people, and me to a certain degree, it was like, that's the bar, that's where we wanted. We wanted a build like that. We didn't get that. We were kind of teased to a couple of things, but never really came to fruition. It was like lazy. It was lazy booking. It wasn't any bad booking decisions, I would say, but it was just how it came to be, how we arrived at certain matches. It was kind of lazy. But with all that said, I like the match card. I like what we are being presented with so far. Now, we could get to WrestleMania and these matches be flat. For instance, last year I was super excited for the Usos. I was super excited Jay versus Jimmy. And that was arguably the worst WrestleMania match in history. Hands down, it was horrible. And you never know. It's 50-50. So we shall see. But we have a lot to go over today, so we're not going to prolong the time. Let's preview. Let's break down all 13 matches and a possible 14th. We'll put an asterisk by it. But for right now, let's go over all 13 matches night by night. This is the match card. This isn't the particular order that the matches will be in, but we do know who will be main eventing both nights. Night one will be main evented by the triple threat match between between Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. We know that night two will be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the championship. So aside from that, I don't know what order these matches will fall, but we'll see when we get there. I honestly don't care. I just want to see a good card. Starting with night one, which takes place April the 19th, Saturday night. Let's kick it off with a tag team match for the World Tag Team Championship, where the champions, the War Raiders, will take on the New Day. This is not my least anticipated, but one that is, like I was saying earlier about the build being lazy. they kind of dropped the ball. Well, they didn't kind of. They dropped the ball on the New Day. The New Day had one of the best heel turns in the past, I don't know, year. Aside from John Cena, we'll get to that later. But it was so cold-blooded how the New Day turned heel, turning their back on Big E and just shaming him, and you couldn't do nothing but feel sorry for Big E. And they went heel. And that momentum, the nuclear heat that they got after that, it was like, my God, they couldn't talk on the mic. They couldn't give a promo. It was like, my God, what are the New Day going to do now? How are they going to catapult off of this heat? Well, nowhere. They went nowhere. It was as flat can be. They weren't booked right. You didn't see them some weeks. I know they couldn't talk. I know that they couldn't get in the ring and talk because of the crowds, which was great. But you could have had them cut some vignettes or anything in the back or something, to build off of the momentum that they had at that point. But it was no momentum. And now all of a sudden, okay, we got a title match at WrestleMania. Where'd this come from? What was the purpose? How did they earn this? There was really no explanation. It was just like, okay, we want to challenge for the tag team championships at WrestleMania. Okay, there you go. It was sold like, okay, they're the greatest tag team of all time, and this, that, and the third. They earned the right a little bit. I don't see how that earned you a tag team title match at WrestleMania, but I'll take it. I want to see the New Day. New Day are a great tag team, and pairing them, across from the War Raiders, it should be a good match because the War Raiders are a great tag team within their own right. I mean, they're the tag team champions, but they haven't had favorable booking. They really haven't done much of anything since they won those titles. And to be fair, it's a WWE thing. Actually, it's a whole pro wrestling thing, because if you watch AEW, and if you do, God bless you. But if you watch all of these pro wrestling programs, tag team wrestling has not been good in the past year or so, and especially in the WWE. It has not been booked right. SmackDown is doing a better job than Raw, but not by much. It's just there, they just have tag team championships or champions just to say they have a tag team champion. But this ought to be a good match. I think the one way to save this, the one way to keep interest, I believe the New Day will come out victorious and win the tag team championships. But I think it's going to be some shenanigans. And where the shenanigans are going to come from, I believe, and this is a strong theory, but I think Big E will return at WrestleMania and assist the New Day in capturing the tag team champions, or championship, I should say. That's the only way to really kind of make this into something. That's the only reason why this would be on the WrestleMania card. There's no other reason to have this at WrestleMania. The Street Profits and Motor City Machine Guns, they're wrestling for the championships on SmackDown before WrestleMania. And you can argue that actually has more story to it, and that will be probably a better match for a WrestleMania card. But they're sticking that on the SmackDown. It's not even going to be on the card. And so to justify this being on the card for me, I think you need something to happen. You need some type of swerve here. And I think bringing Big E back to assist New Day in winning the World Tag Team Championship would be a big swerve. And it would re-energize this New Day heel turn. Because now you're raising questions of, okay, Big E is a heel now. Is Big E back for good? Is he going to wrestle? Is he, you know what I'm saying? It raises more questions, and that's what you want. You don't want predictability. You want something that'll throw you off, and I think that would throw a lot of people off. Even though I'm not predicting it, but it's more of a wish. I'm wishing that's the way it would go. But that's my prediction for the tag team championship, the world tag team championship match between the World War Raiders and the New Day. I have the New Day becoming the champions with an assist from Big E. That's my prediction for that match. We move on to the second match of night one, and it is a singles match between Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano. This this is the one match, even though I should be super excited for this because I love both of these wrestlers. Even though El Grande Americano is new, but Chad Gable isn't. So I love Chad Gable. Chad Gable is probably one of the best wrestlers on the roster, man. He is a beast. And Rey Mysterio is Rey Mysterio. And I think they're going to put on a banger, but I don't know. I'm just not excited for this match. I mean, where's this going to go for anybody? How does this match help anyone winning wise? If Rey Mysterio wins, okay. Now what? If Chad Gable, I mean, if El Grande Americano wins, then what? What's next after that? I mean, you beat Rey Mysterio. That's it. That whole storyline of Chad Gable unable to defeat luchadors, that's gone now. I mean, because he would have defeated the greatest luchador of all time, arguably, and so it goes nowhere after that. But as far as the match itself, I think it's going to be a really good match. The real high flying, technical ground, submission move type match. I mean, it's going to be a banger. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. It's going to be nice. I just storyline wise, where are we going to go when it's all said and done? But as far as the match between Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano, I have El Grande Americano coming out on top on this night. I really don't see any other way this match ended. I mean, I just don't understand this match. I don't understand this storyline, to be honest with you. Even though, don't get me wrong, even though it is entertaining, it is very entertaining. It's funny to see this character, and it's funny to see Chad Gable play this character and whatnot. I am enjoying it. I just don't know where it's heading. But hey, maybe Triple H has some tricks up his sleeve in regards to this. But I have El Grande Americano coming out on top. The third match in night one is the one match that I initially was not super looking forward to, but I am now. And that is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. This is going to be amazing. And it's not for the wrestling. it's not for what's in the ropes. It's the story. I don't care how you feel about Naomi. And I'm raising my hand right now. I'm a man, so I can admit when I was wrong. Since Naomi has returned to WWE, I have not enjoyed her. I have not enjoyed her character, her ring work. It has been stale at times, a little botchy at times, and it kind of was making me mad. It was making me mad because before she left, before her great exit a couple of years back with her and Sasha Banks, I was a huge fan of Naomi. I was cheering her on. I was feeling the glow. But when she returned, it just didn't have that same glow. for lack of a better term. It just didn't have that pop. Man, since this heel turn, when she attacked Jade, and Jade returned at the Elimination Chamber and, beat her half to death in that chamber, and she just has clicked, and this heel turn has been another great heel turn that has happened over the past 6 months here in WWE. Her vignettes have been so good. Her promo work has been so good. And Jade Cargill, still green, still haven't gotten her feet wet yet, and she can't carry this. So Naomi has to do most of the lead work, and my God, is she doing it. She is selling this match. She is selling her character and this storyline perfectly. Has me completely invested in this match. And I wouldn't have been any otherwise because, like I said, Jade Cargill is still green. And she still hasn't quite got it down packed yet. And so I was like, well, I don't know, her and Naomi's been kind of botchy lately, and that was my thought of when this first kicked off. And then with this turn, I think Naomi can carry this match, make Jade look good, make herself look good in the turn, and I think they're going to put on a pretty decent match. I don't see this match going long. This is probably going to be one of the shortest matches of the weekend, I should say. So and that's good. You don't want to stretch it out too long because you'll start exposing flaws. And so I hope it's a small, contained, short match. Just a grudge beatdown match. Get it on and get it over with. But at the end of the day, I think Naomi will come out victorious in this match. And the only reason I think Naomi will win is because Jade already beat her half to death. And so for her to come back out and do it again at WrestleMania, that'll kill Naomi's character. That'll kill any momentum for her. And I'm not feeling that. I would prefer Naomi win. Now, I have a theory on how Naomi will win because, I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. Jade Cargill could kill her. She could kill her. Kayfabe wise, she would destroy Naomi. But I think Naomi has a trick up her sleeve. I think Naomi is gonna bring in a little squad of her own. I think it's either gonna be oh my God, why am I blanking on their names? The girls from NXT. I just had their names. Just had their names in my head. Lash Legend, and it was another one. I can't think of her name, but I think because I haven't seen Lash Legend on NXT. Now, maybe I missed it, but she's been kind of incognito lately. And so that would make sense for her to move up and somebody else to move up. And this team, this faction here would gang up on Jade Cargill, which will stretch this feud on, for the next coming months. Also, I think that what would help this feud is the addition of Bianca Belair. Now, I know Bianca Belair, and we're going to talk about her a little later, is a little tied up in a triple threat match. I wish that she was involved in this more, but that's fine. I think once she get past this triple threat match, she will be reinserted into this riff here. So, yeah, that would help the cause a little more. Hence why I think Naomi will have some assistance and come out victorious at WrestleMania versus Jade Cargill. Our next match, match 4 of night 1, is for the WWE United States Championship, where the champion L.A. Knight, will defend that championship against Jacob Fatu. Oh, brother. I am drooling waiting on this one. Jacob Fatu has quickly become one of my favorite wrestlers to watch. I knew nothing of Jacob Fatu before he entered the WWE. I know that he was in, I think, MLW and some independents for a while, so a lot of people got some eyes on him. I haven't. So when he came and I saw his size, and from highlights and clips that I saw, on YouTube and whatnot of him before he came to WWE, he was much bigger. He was a rounder guy, a little puffy, and he was still moving the way he moves now. He was still doing the stuff that he could do now. The dude is phenomenal, and he got in phenomenal shape, entered the WWE, and he is an animal. The Samoan werewolf is the perfect nickname for him because he is a beast. He is a beast. And lately with him being on the mic, his promo skills, not the best, but I'm still enjoying him. He's getting there. He's getting there. I mean, he's not a lyricist, but I do enjoy his promo work as well. So it's needless to say who I'm pulling for in this match, and I think we'll go over in this match, but it wouldn't shock me if LA Knight wins. But I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu to capture the U.S. Championship. For one reason and one reason only, I think this is going to set up Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. And having that championship involved, because Solo was going after that title as well, but Jacob ultimately won the number one contendership, and that will cause the rift between those two. I guess expand the rift because they're already beefing, and so that alone uh, 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 gets me excited and have me leaning towards Jacob Fatu. LA Knight, love LA Knight. I really do. Like I said, I wouldn't be shocked and wouldn't get mad or upset if he was to retain. But I just don't think he will retain. But I am glad that he is getting his WrestleMania moment here, coming in as a champion. You know, so I think this is going to be a good match. I'm not going to go as far to say it's going to be a banger, but it will be a good match nonetheless. Moving on to the fifth match of night one. This is the singles match for the WWE Women's Championship between Tiffany Stratton, and the Royal Rumble winner, the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Zero expectations for this, for this match. I think these two are great performers. Tiffany Stratton has won me over. Of course, I enjoyed her in NXT, but I really like her ring work. Promo, not so much, but I like her ring work. Charlotte Flair, I know there's a lot of critics of Charlotte Flair, and I understand. I really do. I understand. It can get tiresome, her character. Very tiresome. But what she does between those ropes, you cannot hate on. There's no way you can hate on Charlotte Flair and the way she performs between the ropes. She's an animal. She's a beast. And so I think they're gonna put on a good match. It's the build that I just don't care for. I did not care for this build. The only time I got slightly interested in this match was when, the infamous promo where Tiffany called out Charlotte's divorces and all this here, and that was the only time I was interested in. The only reason I was interested in that, I was like, wait, is this a shoot, or are they going they really going real here? Because Charlotte looked really pissed. She looked pissed off for real when she brought it up. And so I don't know. Now, the week after that, they had a little brush up. You could tell that was kind of worked out, but the build just hasn't been there. I just I'm not excited for this match. And quite honestly, I would love to see Tiffany Stratton run with the title a little bit longer and actually do something with it, because she hasn't done anything with it since she cashed in. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. But for that reason, I think that's why they're going to end up taking it off her. Unfortunately, my pick to win the WWE Women's Championship at WrestleMania will be Charlotte Flair. I think she's going to go over, even though by right, she should be putting Tiffany Stratton over. This is the time to do it. But I don't know. I just don't know. It would actually surprise me. This would shock me if Tiffany won. But I, I think Charlotte is going to win. I really do, because Tiffany Stratton, it feels like the crown is too heavy for her. You know what I'm saying? She's giving that vibe like it's just she's not ready for this right now. I'm not saying she can never be a champion. Just right now, they probably pulled the trigger a few months early. You know, let her get some steam before she becomes champion, because this was a waste. This was a waste. Her title run has been just poo poo. I mean, she only defended it once, I think, prior to this WrestleMania match, and that was a rematch against Nia Jax. That was it. I don't think she's defended that championship since. So nah, I'm just not. I'm not feeling it. So I think Charlotte Flair will go over in this match. Our sixth match of night one is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defends his championship against main event Jey Uso. Yeet. Well, this was another one. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. Leading up to this, the build just has not been up to snuff. It's been boring. It got exciting a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, after Gunther, I guess, attempted murder on Jimmy Uso in the ring. At that point, it got fairly interesting, but it took so long to get to that, and I think that was one of the problems I had with them pushing WrestleMania back to this weekend. It took too long. It took way too long. Like some filler weeks there, you know, they had just fill in some stuff. Oh, we'll just choke him out this week. We'll have Gunther choke out Jay this week. Okay, what are we gonna do next week? Let's have him choke him out again. You know, let's wait till we get to March. Once we get to March, we'll start doing something a little different. And that's the way it felt. You had Jey Uso beefing with Austin Theory and Grayson Waller and all this. You had Otis and Tirashaka, whatever his name is. He having them involved in this and all. What they got to do with this? And then once they turned up the screws on this, they all just vanished. Everybody just vanished into the ether. It was like, what are we doing here? But it is interesting. I am a little hyped for it. At the same time, let's be real. Jey Uso, he is over. He is super over. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves to yeet. He is exciting. He brings just a new energy when he enters the arena. I get all that. But him wrestling, he is not the greatest. It's super kicks and leapfrogs off of the top rope. It's nothing he brings to the table. Is he able to kick it up a notch and do something different? Jey Uso had a phenomenal match with Roman Reigns about 5 years ago, which basically started the bloodline. That match was so good. And that's what started this bloodline storyline that pretty much held WWE together for the past 5 years up until last year's WrestleMania. And since then, Jey Uso hasn't really given us a banger match like that. Even against his own brother, like I mentioned earlier, that was the worst match. It was just super kick central. It was nothing else done in that match. Gunther is probably the greatest professional wrestler currently working in all of pro wrestling. He can work a match with anybody, big, small, a high flyer, ground and pound. It doesn't matter. He's going to give you a banger match. And I think Gunther will be able to bring a exciting match out of Jay. I think it's going to be a good match. I do. The problem I have is this is the worst kept secret in all of pro wrestling. You know Jey Uso is going to win this match. It's not even worth predicting. It's a no-brainer. Of course he's going to win the match. But my logical brain won't allow me to accept that. Will it be a awesome moment? Will it be an epic WrestleMania moment to have Jey Uso yeeting with the World Heavyweight Championship belt? Yes, it will. It will be epic. But that's it. It's just that moment. That's it. And we're doing all this for a moment. Gunther, now, do he need to move on to bigger, better things? Yes, he do. Dropping this title, will that open the door for him to go after Cody or whoever has the WWE Championship? Yes, it will. But will it happen? I don't know. I don't know. And that's what scares me. I don't know what they're going to do with Gunther after that. After this foreseen outcome of this match. Now, this could be the biggest swerve on God Green Earth. Gunther could win. And I would be shocked. Only because WWE has set up Jey Uso to go over. Just like they set up Cody Rhodes last year. Let's not get it twisted. Everybody knew Cody Rhodes was going to win last year, finishing the story. This was not a shock. But this, because they set it up like that. So it's pretty much the same thing here, just not as epic as the Cody Rhodes finishing the story thing. But we know that Jey Uso has fought Gunther 3 times prior to this and lost all 3 times. I don't see a 4th happening, not 4 in a row. So I think main event Jey Uso will become the new World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania. Yeet. So we move on to the main event of night 1. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. This is a triple threat match for nothing. There's no championship here. We got, in night 1, you have a grand total of 4 championship matches and 2 Royal Rumble winners. And none of them are involved in this main event match in night 1. And that is so wow. But these are your 3 biggest stars of the company. These are the biggest names in WWE. All 3 of them are going head to head with one another, with one caveat. Roman Reigns will not have the services of Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman will be in the corner of CM Punk. This was a decent build. It wasn't the greatest build either. Once again, all of these builds were a victim of the long, I think, 10-week period between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. So it was a lot of time there, to try to fill in. So this didn't really get off to a good start like no other match here. But it started to pick up steam. It's interesting. The build hasn't been great, but these 3 superstars are doing the best they can to try to sell this match. At first I was super excited for it, and then I was like, I really don't want this. I wanted a one-on-one with any combination here. It could have been one-on-one Seth versus Roman. I would have been happy. Seth versus CM Punk would have been happy. CM Punk versus Ronan would have been happy. All three, I was like, I don't care for this. I really don't, because I would prefer to see a one-on-one match between these superstars. But I guess you got to do what you got to do. And yeah, they put a little hot sauce on it by adding the Paul Heyman factor. Okay, that got a little more interesting, but I wasn't excited. And then as we got closer, as we drew closer to this upcoming weekend, I would say about a week or so ago, I was kind of like, okay, I can see this working. I can. It was. I think it was right after the contract signing. It wasn't so much the favor, but it was the contract signing that did it for me. And I was like, okay, I can see this working. And then when the favor came into play, where CM Punk, you know, took Paul Heyman away from Roman for WrestleMania, I was like, okay, now you have me. Okay, now you have me, because the Roman factor of it all, Roman has nothing. Just remember, a year ago at last year's WrestleMania, Roman had it all. He was the champion. He had the bloodline. He had Roman Reigns. He had the final boss. He was on top of the world. And here we are at this year's WrestleMania, and he walks out alone. And that, when that finally clicked in my head, I was like, man, I want to see Roman Reigns. What version of Roman Reigns we're going to get here? Seth is just going to bring a good matchup to it. I don't understand the inclusion of Seth, even though we know, okay, he has beef with Roman, he has beef with CM Punk. I get all that. But, you know, in this particular story, it really didn't need Seth Rollins. But we got him. And I think Seth Rollins is going to bring a different level to it, because he does have significant beef with both of his opponents. So there's that. Then you have CM Punk. And CM Punk, for the first time in his career, will be main eventing WrestleMania. And that was an emotional moment. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. When they had the contract signing and Paul Heyman told CM Punk that he is officially a WrestleMania Hall of Famer, and I was like, man, this dude fought so long to get to this moment, and he finally got it. Yes, it's not for the championship. Yeah, it's not technically the main event because it's not Sunday night, but regardless, it's still significant in some circles, and I think he rightfully deserves it. But when it comes to the prediction of this match, oh boy, I think Roman Reigns will come out victorious, because Roman Reigns is a wounded animal. Roman Reigns is unhinged at this point, you know, mentally. You know, he isn't frantic around. He isn't Jacob Fatu crazy, but he's lost it. He's the king without a kingdom. He's lost it all. And so I think he's going to come in and at all costs try to rebuild what he once had. And he can't do it unless he comes out victorious in this match. So that's my prediction. Roman Reigns, the victor. And it's not going to hurt anybody. Nobody is going to be hurt by a loss here. This is just going to be a good match. You know, it's not going to affect anybody's push. It's not going to drop anybody down the card. This is just a grudge match. You know, I would have loved if they would have added a little caveat, a little stipulation that whoever comes out victorious is the number one contender. Now that would have been something, you know, to the challenge for the WWE Championship at Backlash or something. That would have been a little put a little more weight to this match. But right now, it's really nothing. It's nothing. There is nothing to fight for other than the fact you want to beat up the other two guys. But I think Roman Reigns will come out victorious. So that's it for night one. Moving on to night two, Sunday, April the 20th, we have six matches. Might as well get into the one that is kind of iffy. We may get 7. And when I say may get 7, Randy Orton. Randy Orton was originally going to face Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, in case you don't know. Kevin Owens is hurt. Kevin Owens has had surgery. I think he had surgery last week after he announced that he was not going to be at WrestleMania due to this neck surgery that he was getting. And that put Randy Orton out of WrestleMania. He doesn't have a match, and it's sad. It's sad on both fronts, you know. It's sad for Kevin Owens, you know, because you don't know, like he said, he don't even know if he was going to be able to come back and wrestle after the surgery. And it's sad because he really wanted to wrestle. I watched the interview he did where he stated, like, man, he's so disappointed because he wanted to wrestle Randy Orton at WrestleMania. And one of the other big regrets was he wanted to wrestle John Cena in his final year, and that is not going to happen due to this surgery. And so he is he's out, man. According to reports, it could be 12 to 16 months before we see Kevin Owens again in the ring. So that left Randy Orton odd man out. Randy Orton, he RKO'd Nick Aldis a couple of weeks ago, which kind of hinted to maybe Nick Aldis returning to the ring. If you never watched Nick Aldis wrestle and NWA, Nick Aldis was an awesome pro wrestler. I don't think he's injured or officially retired or anything. He's just the GM of SmackDown. And so he can wrestle. And if you look at the dude, he's still in good shape. He's not like he didn't let himself go. I would like to see that, but it would be so out of the blue at this point. Actually, anything you do, anybody you stick in there would be out of the blue. But I do have a theory. I think Randy Orton will have a match Sunday night. He's going to come out. He's going to issue an open challenge. And that challenge will be answered. And we're going to get the return of Rusev. I think Rusev returns at WrestleMania to face Randy Orton. I know a lot of theories have been Malachi Black or Aleister Black, whichever one you want to call him at this point. I think he's going to be after WrestleMania. I don't think you're going to send him out to face Randy and lose. You know, that wouldn't make sense to me. But Rusev, now I'm not saying send Rusev out to lose. That would be even better. But no, I don't think it will be a loss. I think this will probably end in a disqualification or something like that. You know, because it isn't a quote unquote official match of the WrestleMania card. So I think both will come out strong. Both will come out all right. If it ends in a disqualification, we get the epic return of Rusev or Miro, whatever he wants to come by, go by these days. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen ultimately. I know they kind of teased Solo Sikoa on SmackDown last week. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. And I like Solo Sikoa, but I just don't want to see a Solo Sikoa versus Randy Orton match at WrestleMania. Hey, I'll watch that on SmackDown. I don't want to see that at WrestleMania. I would rather see Rusev. And he's signed. The report said that he has re-signed with the WWE. This was about a month ago. So it isn't like he's not there. He just hasn't appeared on anything. I think he's at the Performance Center or whatnot. But he knows. I mean, they got history together from back in the day. They can go out there and put on a match for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. I would enjoy that. I would love to see Rusev back. I really do. That was one of the ones when, WWE does these releases. Some of them I'll be like, okay, well, wish him well. But other ones I'll be like, oh man. Rusev was one of them. Rusev was the one I was like, ah, because he never truly got a good push, a really good push, and he was over as ever when he was here the first time. And for some strange reason, they never pulled the trigger on him. But that was a different era. We know Vince was in charge then, but now maybe under Triple H, he'll get the proper respect that he is rightfully earned throughout his time. But I think that's my prediction. I don't have any insight, any sources. That's just something I would like to see. And one way or the other, Randy Orton will be wrestling. I just don't know who. But that's the only one that makes logical sense to me. And if you want to get the surprise factor going, there you have it. I would love to see that. And so, to our official matches of night 2, we have a tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez will defend those championships against Bayley and Lara Valkyria. I am not interested in this. And it's nothing against these ladies. All 4 of these women are awesome in their own right, but I don't care about the women's tag team championships. To be honest with you, until they announced that gauntlet match to see who defends the titles, or who's going to challenge for the titles, I should say, at WrestleMania, I forgot that they even had women's tag team championships. And that's how much they don't do anything with those belts. Nothing with those belts. And it looks like they're doing the same thing with the women's Intercontinental and the women's US. They're not really pushing it. I thought that was going to be some awesome mid-card women's wrestling that we got to see, and we have yet to see it yet. Now, Lyra Valkyria, who is the women's Intercontinental champion, she's the only one that's really fighting out there with that belt, adding a little prestige to it. Chelsea Green with the women's US title, not so much. It's more of a joke belt, her character, and I love her character. I love what she's doing with the Secret Hervis, and all this here. All that is fine, but it's not really adding anything to those belts. And it's the same thing with the women's tag team championships. Those belts have not meant anything at all since they brought them up to the roster. It's just nothing, man. Do away with the NXT. NXT did away with their women's tag team championship. It's like, it's nothing. It's a waste of time. But yeah, I am not in case you can't tell, I'm not interested in this match. But do I think it's going to be a good match? Yes, I do, because these are 4 really good wrestlers. These are 4 women who really do put it out there on the line. And ultimately, I think Liv and Raquel will retain. And the only reason I think that is because Bayley and Lyra, they're still in this kind of feud for the Intercontinental Championship. And adding the tag team championship to them, it just throws off everything in my logic. So I would pick Liv and Raquel to retain. But who knows? We'll see. It don't make sense to make Lyra a double champion at this point. It really doesn't. But I've been wrong before. Anyways, moving on to the second match of night 2, we have AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Once again, another one that you're kind of like, eh. I'm not a Logan Paul guy. He can wrestle. I give him that. That dude can wrestle. That dude can perform in the ring. Don't like him as a person. AJ Styles, awesome wrestler. He's slowed down a little bit, over the past couple of years because he's dealt with some major injuries. And I think he's starting to wind it down now, but it's really hasn't been a build for this. They just randomly paired off, I guess you could say, and it's like, okay, yeah, I think it's gonna be a nice match, but is it WrestleMania? No, it is not. I'm not looking forward to this match, but I'm hoping, wishing, and praying that my prediction comes through. I think that AJ Styles will come out victorious against Logan Paul. And that's because Logan Paul has been getting the upper hand on AJ Styles since they announced this match. He's been putting him in his finisher, the pulverizer, which is a cool finisher. I do like that finish. Very cool looking. But I don't see AJ Styles getting it for a third time at WrestleMania. So I got AJ coming out victorious. Our next match for night 2 is a fatal 4-way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. The champion, Braun Breaker, will defend against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Now, this has been a little, this been a little intriguing, I would say. I've been invested in this. Braun Breaker is, the next big thing. He is. The dude is phenomenal, man. Nobody should move that fast. Nobody that big should move that fast and be that doggone agile. That dude is a phenomenal athlete, and he's getting better on the mic. I mean, his matches are top notch. I'm loving Braun Breaker. I'm thinking Braun Breaker needs to move on from the Intercontinental Championship. That's not to say that he will lose this Sunday, but I do think he needs to move on to bigger and better things. Penta coming over from AEW, being pushed as a superstar and deservingly so. It's good to see him in this match. Finn Balor is long overdue for a WrestleMania moment. And Dominic Mysterio, I love him. I love him. Even when I was hating him, I love him. The dude just does his job. He comes in and does his job. But if his job is to make you hate him, he does it. And he does it well. I love Dominic Mysterio. With all that being said, I think the winner of the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Intercontinental Championship will indeed be Dominic Mysterio. I think Dominic Mysterio will win the championship, go over. But here's the little nugget. He's not going to pin Braun Breaker. He's not going to pin Penta. He's going to pin Finn Balor. They've been setting this up. Now, this is some of the good storytelling that Triple H and his team has been putting together. This deterioration of the Judgment Day, the rift between Dom and Finn Balor, and I think it's all gonna come to a head in this match, and I think Dominic will take advantage and win the match by pinning Finn Balor, and that's gonna initially just destroy the Judgment Day. Or at least for Finn Balor, that'll kick him out of the Judgment Day. So that's my theory on that. If not Finn Balor, he'll pin Penta, one of the two. But I don't think Braun Breaker is going to get pinned here because we still want to make him look strong in this match. But I do think Dominic Mysterio will come out victorious and become the new WWE Intercontinental Championship, or champion. Our next match for night 2 is a Sin City Street fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I I'm not I don't want to say I'm not excited for it, but this is a match that, it's like, okay, it's on the card, so okay. I like both of these dudes, phenomenal in the ring, and even outside of the ring, I like what they're doing. I like how they been billing this match. It's nothing against this match. It's just nothing that I really care about, because I don't know what we're gonna do after this match. What is the winner gonna benefit from here? You know what I'm saying? This is another one of those matches. Had you added the stipulation, you're the number one contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, or the number one contender for the WWE Championship. One of the two, it would have added a little extra flair to it, a little more oomph. If Damian Priest or Drew McIntyre win, where do they go? If whoever loses, where do they go? Or they further back down the line than what they were before. And so that's the only thing that I'm kind of like, okay, it's going to be a fun match, but it's the long term aspect of it for me. But as far as this match, I think it's going to be a banger, and I believe Drew McIntyre will come out victorious against Damian Priest in this match, because Drew McIntyre, he has goals, man. He's out to destroy everybody who he feels wronged him, and that includes Damian Priest. Let's not forget, this time last year at WrestleMania 40, Damian Priest cashed in on Drew to win that title. So there's some history there. So Drew is on a revenge tour right now. So I'm loving everything that we're getting from Drew McIntyre. So I wanted to see him continue on this rise to the top. So that's my prediction for that match. We move on to the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship. Io Sky defends against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. This was lazy. This was lazy booking, or at least the build. This was so telegraphed. Everybody knew this was going to be a triple threat. Everybody. I mean, what made it so disgusting, and it has nothing to do with Io, it has nothing to do with Bianca, it has nothing to do with Rhea. It was the way they set it up, and it was set up bad. There are like 50,000 other scenarios they could have used to set up this triple threat, but they chose the lamest one. It was so lazy the way they set up this match, and it was infuriating week after week after week. And that it was going to end in a triple threat match at WrestleMania. And that's what got me so disgusted. I like all three of these women. All three of these women can go. All three of these women are probably the best in the division on any given night. 1A, 1B, 1C, it's take your pick, whatever order you want to put them in. This is going to be an awesome match, but I just didn't like the way it was built up. Plus, Bianca Belair, I kind of miss her in that Jade Cargill Naomi beef, and because she's a big part of it, so taking her out of it and putting her in this championship match, this triple threat match, it kind of took away from that, because I don't see her winning, because I don't see her going to Raw, because whoever is the champion is a Raw champion. So she needs to stay on SmackDown to deal with Naomi and Jade. Don't take her completely out of that. So that's my only logic why I don't think she will win. Rhea Ripley doesn't need the title. Rhea Ripley is Rhea Ripley. She does not need a belt. And so I don't see her winning. That's why I think Io Sky will retain the championship because Rhea is not going to be hurt by a loss. Bianca won't be hurt by a loss. Io will. Io will fall to the bottom of the card because who else is, what else is she going to do? Damage control is pretty much gone. Kairi Sane, I think she's injured. Asuka is still out injured. Dakota Kai, hadn't seen her in weeks. I don't know where she is. So where does she go? And so you want to keep her with this championship, and she earned it. She deserves it. And I think she's going to put on a banger of a match. I think this is going to be probably one of the sneaky best matches of the weekend. We shall see, but it's definitely going to be exciting. Yes, my pick for the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship, Io Sky retaining that belt. That brings us to the main event of WrestleMania Night 2, and it is, of course, for the Undisputed WWE Championship, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in his final WrestleMania match. Heel John Cena, mind you. This honestly was tough. This was tough to decide. And the reason being, well, let me just say it like this. John Cena, I have John Cena winning this match. But it's hard for me to kind of come to grips with that because John Cena has done nothing since the Elimination Chamber. Yes, he came out on Raw on consecutive weeks, went off on a crowd, never said nothing about Cody, didn't say anything about The Rock. And we still waiting for that. They had that one promo back and forth where Cody Rhodes gave John Cena the crossroads. Okay. Haven't seen him since. And it's like, what is this? This was the greatest heel turn since Hogan at Bash at the Beach in what that was, 97, 90. I don't know when that was, but it was that epic of a heel turn. And it just fell flat. It fell completely flat. I know that they had to work around John Cena's schedule because he's filming a movie. I get all that. But if that's the case, why pull the trigger on this? I know it's John Cena's final WrestleMania. I fully acknowledge that too. And you want to give him his moment at WrestleMania because he's John Cena. I understand that. But did you have to make him the main event for WrestleMania if he wasn't going to be there to promote the main event of WrestleMania? He has done nothing to promote this. The Rock, the final boss, has said nothing since Elimination Chamber. Is The Rock still alive? I have not seen The Rock since the end of Elimination Chamber. Travis Scott, the only confirmation we got is Travis Scott is going to be there because his theme song is the song for WrestleMania. So yeah, I guess Cody going to get a crossroad on Travis Scott. Whoop-de-doo. But what else is there? There has been no real build to this match. I like the promos. I did like the promos, but it added nothing to this match. It added nothing to what took place at Elimination Chamber, which was one of the most epic moments in WWE in the past couple of years. And you have the great John Cena turning heel, man. I mean, come on. And I don't know. It feels like a wasted opportunity here. The match itself, I really don't know how to gauge this match because let's not get it twisted. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not fool ourselves. John Cena is not going to give us a banger match. John Cena couldn't give us a banger match 20 years ago. So he's not going to give you one now. John Cena is the GOAT. I acknowledge that. But John Cena is not going to go out there and give you a 20-minute classic in the ring. 30-minute classic in the ring. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's going to be some shenanigans here. There's going to be some bumfoolery here. I'm pretty sure The Rock will show up in this. He has to. But it's going to be so random, man. And it's frustrating. It is so frustrating. It is so frustrating that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm not super looking forward to this, like I was last year for that epic main event that we got. But like I said before, I think John Cena will win. Why, you ask? Because that's the only thing that makes sense. If John Cena doesn't win, all that took place at Elimination Chamber was for nothing. It was for nothing. All this emptiness that took place in between, where there was no motion, no real heelish type stuff taking place here. Nobody coming out and attacking Cody Rhodes and none of that. It was none of that. All this will be for nothing. All this, so you gotta have John Cena go over. Otherwise, it's a letdown. It was a wasted opportunity to really stick it to the WWE universe. So I'm gonna go with John Cena. I think it's better to see Cody Rhodes fighting for the championship as opposed to fighting to retain it. The chase is better than the actual achievement in this case. And so that's my prediction. Those are my picks. And so with that being said, I hope you wrote them all down, because 9 times out of 10 is going to be the opposite of everything I say. I never get these right. Never. I have never went up and down the card and got them all right. I came close. I believe last year or the year before last, I came close by like 2 matches I got wrong, but the rest were right. I feel confident this year, though. I feel good with these 13. I think I'm looking at 90% here. I'm looking at 90%. Is there some question marks there because of the fatal fours and the triple threats, all that? Because there's too many factors involved there. But I'm giving myself a little leeway there to wiggle. But I think I got it. I think I nailed it with these predictions. Only one way to find out. Check out WrestleMania 41 this weekend, April 19th and 20th on Peacock. 2 nights of WWE action. I would love to know your predictions. I want to know who you think are walking out of WrestleMania champions and victors. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel on YouTube and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget, 5 stars, reviews, and sharing. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to Faces and Heels here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this preview and prediction show for WrestleMania 41. Of course, we're going to go over the results and recap WrestleMania 41 after the weekend. I'm not going to break it down night by night, but we'll do it after night 2 wraps up and see where I got wrong. So until then, y'all have a happy Easter and enjoy WrestleMania.